All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me know if you can hear me. I hope Facebook will treat us a little more kindly this evening. I'm just going to get onto my computer. Welcome to the slightly later than advertised Creative Ignition Session 15. Very fitting, slightly later than advertised. That's how they tell you that the trains are late over in England, for those of us who are not watching in England. And I've definitely had a day where lots of trains were nice and late, shall we say. So, yeah, but very good to be with you guys. Just love doing a performance. Great to see Miranda, one of our uprisers there. So yeah, this is very awesome. Have you been? Let me know. Let me know you can see me. Let me know you can hear me. Is this microphone even working? My sister's just going to bed, still in London, so I'm just going to do it a little bit quieter, a little more mellow session. So good. Mate, I tell you what, I was looking at the hub, and because I did last night's session on my super old Mac, which is like it is 10 years old officially, and yeah, the camera is very much not HD, and yeah, so the difference in quality between my wife's computer and my computer, the camera quality is nuts, just in that short period of time. Jenny, how are you? It's fantastic to have you with us. Jenny, have you managed to find the workbook, the playbook, download it from the hub? Miranda mentioned that she hadn't, and Cam and Karen as well. This is such wonderful like gifts, because I felt like I'd be like, yeah, hit here, go here, and clearly my definition of clear communication and how things are landing, that it's wonderful to know that there's room to improve. So Jenny, let me know if you've got the workbook, and if not, I'll ping the link for you as well. Where is? Let me find the thing I'm looking for. So Jenny is here. Who else? I can see a few others. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know you're here. I am just getting up the questions so I can run through those with you if you've got any questions. And this session is really about deep connection with those who you want to serve. And you may not be entirely sure who that is, so we'll work through that. And there's some questions which may challenge you. Ah, fantastic, Jenny, that's wonderful. So we're doing the page that's called, or the couple of pages called Support Your Supporter. Okay, I'm just bringing it up on my computer now. There we go, fantastic. And give credit here to a guy called James Lavers, really fantastic educator in the fields of like online courses, but also video. He is a super like ninja at video and sales. So yeah, took a lot of these questions, from him. So I big him up for that. And you don't worry if you're not exactly sure who your customers are. The question to consider is, if you could only work with, and that's share space and try and help one particular type of people, then who would that be? And so maybe you might think, well, I like working with adults who are aged between this and this, and they have this type of situation, or I want to work with women who are trying to do this. Okay, so what we're looking for here is, like, if you've got a general idea, that's what we'll start with. And imagine if you could only work with with one set of people for the rest of your life. Who would you be happy to work with for the rest of your life? We're not saying that long term we're going to limit you at all. Let's get something started. Let's build something to start with. Okay, Karen here still won't let me download it. I can't understand why that would not be the case. You just click the like hyperlink. Tell you what, Karen, since I've got my computer on, I will send you a copy of it now. So it'll take a few moments. This is awesome. I can do this. So fantastic. Let's take care of it. Let's get it done. And the session is very simple. Simply, it's going through those questions. And anytime you're not clear on anything, then just post up a question. Let me know what, George, I'm not quite sure. Should I answer it like this or like this? And then I'll answer it for you. So so go ahead. And I can talk through the questions as well, if that would be of service. So let me know. And yeah, Karen, let me send this over to you. There we go. always found it narrowing down as limiting, but I know it's not like that, but still a mental block. Yeah, Jenny, I hear you, and it was a really, it really was a big one for me, because I was just like, what could also help, Jenny, is, what is the, maybe at the moment, let's not worry. The first stage is we are simply trying to find a set of people. Okay, so let's not worry too much about worrying about whether it's going to be limiting or not. Maybe consider it from this perspective, which is there a series of feelings or emotions that the people you'd like to work with are regularly feeling? Okay, so we could even start there. And yet, the reason why we will ultimately narrow it down is because it allows us to be very, very powerful in our communication. Because there are so many people out there who we can serve, and if we can speak the right language, then we can connect very, very powerfully with a certain kind of subset of that people, if you like. Okay, cool. All right, Karen, brilliant. So yeah, fantastic. You want to work very clear on that. Great. So here's the thing. Karen, if you're that clear, that's awesome. So let's create that single person who you're going to talk to. When we talk about supporting your supporter, we are creating what's called a customer avatar, which is the person who you can address all of your communication to, who's the person you bring to mind. And this is an exercise that I'm sure you have all come across. And if you haven't, then great. It's a fantastic exercise. Who is the person who you speak to? And for me, when I was setting up this creative ignition journey, initiating the movement, I had one person in mind. I'm like, and funnily enough, I sent her a message and she didn't actually vibe and connect on it, but I had her in mind as the person who I was speaking to, because I know her outside of this whole community, and I know we think on similar lines. So that was the person who I addressed my communication to. And with that in mind, I was also able to, with her in mind rather, I was able to let my heart just kind of pour from that place as well. So it allowed me to kind of have a starting point and then to kind of go with it. So Karen, I'd invite you to, and I'm going to send you the thing now. I'd invite you to just go through the process and see if you can get, so the people you want to work with. Fantastic, cool. So we want to create one person, one character, it's almost like a kind of, if you think of like a computer game, some computer games you play, you create your character, right? We are creating this character for the service you are going to offer. Okay, so this one person who you can speak to, who you can address all your communication to. There we go. Right. So that is just attaching itself to an email for you, Karen. So yeah, Jenny, I hope that helps. Really, I'd invite you just to surrender. Dive into the process and see where it takes you. See where it takes you. Trust the process. Trust the process. I can see the comments, but the video's not working for me yet, Cam. Okay, that's interesting. There we go. I have that person. All right, wonderful. So Karen, if you have that person, answer these questions. Don't fight me. Don't fight me. But I love your clarity as well. So in that case, see if you can put in some really good detail. Louise, how are you? It's fantastic to have you on the session. So we are creating, and I'm sure Louise has done this exercise. We're creating your ideal avatar. This session called Support Your Supporter. So in the link in one of the earlier posts that I put, you can find the playbook, which will help you to get hold of the exercise we're doing. Essentially, it's 37 questions to help you really dig deep into who the person. If you could only work with one person for the rest of your life, who is that person you'd want to work for? And from that, we can flesh out an entire way of communicating with them, from the language they use, the social media profiles they're going to connect on, what do they do in the real world, and from that very, very detailed, fleshed out picture, the power is that you will ultimately, of course, be speaking to more than one person, but to anyone else who resonates with the same characteristics that you've created for your avatar, then they're going to be like, holy shit, you know, Louise, Jenny, Karen, Cameron, they're talking directly to me. And that's the power it has. No, Karen, not at all. Like, and here's the thing: if you were fighting me, awesome. Like, this is such a blessing, like, to be on a call and to be exploring this stuff. So, you know, it's yeah, it's wonderful. So fantastic. I'd always love a bit of banter as well. So don't go too much on it though. Hurt my feelings. No, it's wonderful. So, but Karen, you know, really just go for it, because if you're that clear, then you know, I really want to know. You know, I want to know, you know, who or what are they jealous of? You know, how many of their wants and desires are their own, and how many have they taken from other people as a result of conditioning, or taken from social conditions? So yeah, really, you know, I want to see some detail, because from this, when we then start to move towards how do you communicate to the world about your gifts, this is a resource we're going to come back to and harvest from, if you like. Okay. So yeah, any questions as you go through them, just really hit me up, let me know. Wonder if I can make some kind of call to Cam on Messenger. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Let's try that. Let's see. This would be some fair technology. Start call. Let's see if it works. Yes. Share selected devices. Yes. Okay. Call failed. That's not a good start. Let's try. What other ways could we get in touch with Cam? Okay, let's see what's happening. Oh, it's ringing this time. Mate, we could be onto something here. So let's see. Keep the comments coming if you've got any. Well, it's still ringing. What's going on there? No answer. And you know, how are you getting on? I know some of the questions are a bit, you know, how would I know that? Well, the thing is, you know, come from, you know, go, well, if this was the person, what would they say? You know, what would their answer be? And you know what? Also, something to be aware of, and that's okay, is that often you'll find you're answering a lot of the questions very close to your own perspective as well. And you know, often we are our own best customer, because here's the thing: we give what we need. We give what we need, and that is a concept that is, you know, we try to fight it. I tried to fight it, but it's super true, and we'll be exploring it more in later sessions. So give Cam another try, shall we? Cool. So Cam is on it. He's trying. Okay, cool. So Jenny, fantastic. So you know, you've got a starting point, which is wonderful. So people who enjoy waking up, and I'm assuming by waking up you're meaning kind of switching on to being, I guess, more conscious, to trying to kind of be a part of telling a new story. Just confirm if that's the case, rather than getting out of bed. Storage almost full. I've got no idea what that means. So So yeah, let me know. And if that is the case, so you've got people who enjoy waking up. Well, let me just head over to the questions and start going. Okay, great. So for people who enjoy waking up, so stage one, where we're going deep, we're not yet trying to even go as specific as whether they're male or female yet. So for people who are worried about or who enjoy waking up, well, what are they worried about? So if I was, I enjoy waking up. So if that was me, I'd be, well, I am worried about the state of the world, and what's keeping me up at night, um, is the prospect that we are fast approaching some kind of fascist dictatorship in many many countries. Um, and what's frustrating me would be do you see? So what's frustrating me would be the fact that there's so much potential and we're just not doing anything with it. It seems. And I could go on and on. So I hope that helps insofar as um, really just start to kind of you know as someone who is, I hope, waking up. I hope those examples help you to kind of get your pen flowing. In the comments. Oh, you missed the example. So yeah, go ahead. Oh, you missed the example. Sorry. Um, so for me, I consider myself to be someone who's waking up. So what would I be worried about? I'm worried about uh, some kind of war happening, because even though I feel like I'm waking up, I see a lot of people who, you know, the hatred that gets spewed in the media just gets kind of parroted by so many people, and I feel like we're moving further apart at times. What's keeping me up at night is that we have so much such inequality and so much like so much ignorance as well. All of these things. I feel like Jesus. I've got young children. I'm bringing them into the world. How do I do that? What's keeping me up at night is, will we run out of food? All of these. As someone who I hope is kind of waking up a bit, maybe that helps you to get your pen going. What's frustrating me, the amazing potential we have, and yet we let ourselves believe that you know a vote every 25 votes in a century is some kind of democracy where we actually have a say, and we have to choose between David Cameron or some idiot. We have to choose between either two parties who are both going to, sell arms to both sides of a conflict. That frustrates me. What am I scared of? Yeah, lots of things. Yeah, Jenny, let me know if that's helped to kind of get your pen flowing. We're not worrying specifically who they are yet, but just, I feel like if people who are waking up, what are they worried about? There's quite a few things. That's why they're waking up, because they feel like they want to do something about it, right? Um, so how are we getting on? Karen, how are you getting on? Are you trusting the process, just diving in there, giving me some great detail to go forward with? And guys, really, I can think I understand more now. I think I am drilling back as my gifts are feeling dead to me right now. Okay, if we're drained from service, okay, okay. Um, so, here's, but in that case, Jenny, for me, you're at a perfect point because, you know, think to yourself, what are the reasons you feel drained? Okay, what are the reasons you feel drained? Um, and I'd be amazed if there wasn't something to do with the people you've been serving in some way. It it didn't enliven you in the same way as it enlivened them, and therefore perhaps that's an indication that the current people who you've been serving, there's something maybe that if you were going to work with an ideal group, then there might be something different about them. Certainly this ideal group would nourish you as much as you nourish them. And that's not to say you can never serve these same people you've been serving, but maybe there might be something that could change in, you serve these guys and ultimately then that would allow you to serve these other guys. But you'd be kind of, for me on these sessions, um, it, I always walk away more energized. I literally have to kind of take some time to calm down before I go to sleep because otherwise I've got so much like adrenaline and joy that it's nuts. And so, yeah, I guess, yeah, have a think. It may well be that that very situation you're in will help you to actually map out who you really would love to work with. So think of some times when you felt like you were giving your gift and you were super freaking buzzing, like buzzing massively, like just joyous, alive, connected. What was happening then? And from that, okay, well, maybe what were some common things about the people you were working with in that situation? Um, and then what are they worried about? Or what do you imagine they're worried about, etc., etc. Okay, what do you imagine that's keeping them up at night? What do you imagine they're scared of? Cool. Who or what are they aspiring to? Okay, so let me know if that distinction helps. Ah, cool. So Cam's sorting his things out. Good, good, good. Excellent, excellent. Good, good, good. And Jenny, you've thrown up a wonderful distinction that I always use, and it landed with me maybe a year or so ago, and the the way that you're giving in a way that's aligned with your highest purpose, for me, is because at the end of doing it, you feel spent. You don't feel drained. So there's a very big difference. At the end of a football match, I feel absolutely spent. Maybe I've nearly been sick because I'm not very fit these days, but I feel it's a joyous kind of exhaustion, whereas being drained is a miserable kind of exhaustion. So I hope that distinction helps. It's really, in what situations do you feel absolutely spent, but you've given your best. So Luke, it's great to see you on the session. Luke, have you managed to download the playbook? Um, and if you have, we're on a section called Support Your Supporter. And it sounded like from last night you've got a fair bit of clarity on who you're working with because it's in a medical setting. But yeah, this exercise I think would really help you to connect on a deeper level with what your patients or who the people you're serving are going through, and therefore actually to do a better job and receive even more joy. And Luke popping up gives a great example potentially. Jenny, Luke is someone who's found a new passion for working in a whole new field. Was a very, very talented musician, still is a very talented musician, and he's now working in a medical field. And I'd imagine the shifts are pretty tough. He does long hours, but from the sounds of his messages yesterday and the comments and the interactions, he returns home from work with a kind of a glow because he's felt like, shit, I'm doing something that's awesome. Yeah, I hope Luke perhaps is a live example of the difference between being drained and being spent. So I'd imagine Luke goes home spent, but he feels like because his work is meaningful, it's a beautiful exhaustion rather than a miserable one. So yeah, so Luke, the questions are in the workbook at the hub link, which I posted up just fairly recently on the timeline in the group, and it's a section called Support Your Supporter. Okay. And so one of the distinction. I work social worker though. Oh yeah, so yeah, Jesus, I hear you, Jenny. Like social work, that can be a big challenge. So having to think is at the moment, Jenny, you're working as a social worker, ACE. So it may be that further down the line, you might want to transition from the kind of social work you're currently doing to actually the kind of social work that you would love to do. Does that make sense? And I'm certain that there's elements of your current work that you do love, and there's elements of your current work that, like you say, there's a lot of heaviness in it. So yeah, start thinking. What are the times in your current social work where it really is it's a beautiful exhaustion, and try and pinpoint some of those, maybe those kinds of people, or is it you're working with certain types of people and you're able to share your art with them, so because ultimately this is it's a lifelong journey we're embarking on, supporting each other on. And so it may be that in 6 months, in a year, you decide, hey, I've got enough contacts now, I'm going to branch out on my own and set up Jenny's jovial social work. And look, that's a terrible, but please don't focus on the names, but you could create your own thing aligned to your highest gifts and joy that will allow you to serve the people who you can make the most difference with in a way where both sides are uplifted and energized. So cool. And yeah, let me know how you're getting on, guys. Good thoughts. Good, Jenny. Excellent. Um, so let me know how you're getting on. Probably be on for about another 15 or so minutes if you guys need me. Then I've got to get ready to go and get a train. It's 5.5 hour train back to Cornwall, where my beautiful wife and beautiful children await. But yeah, it's been good to come back to London. Just kind of so buzzing and vibrant in a very different way. It's very different energy in London. I definitely couldn't live here, but it's wonderful to kind of come here every now and then and dip in and dip back out again. You can see and hear me now, Cam. Fantastic. So, Cam, if you've got the workbook, then yeah, it's page 20, I believe. No, 20, page 19. Is stage 1 of support your supporter, and it strikes me that, Cam, there might be two. You might have two lots of answers for this, because what we're essentially creating is a customer avatar who is the one ideal person we would love to work with. And another question we're posing that is, if you could only work with one person for the rest of your life, who would that person you'd work with? Who's that person you'd want to serve? And for you, I'm guessing you may want to do this exercise twice. One for the young people you would like to serve, who come to your academy, and the other one would be for the parents. Who would be the ideal parent you would love to have paying for the people who come to your academy, and who would be the ideal young person who you'd like to have come into your academy, so that in marketing communications that goes out to those two different demographics, you can really speak to them in a very powerful way. So yeah, Cam, let me know that makes sense as well. Now then, I'm speaking to you guys with this is plugged into my computer, totally unnecessary. I'm just like, hey, so I can take these off now. Got my performance voice on. You can hear my throat's a little deeper. Also trying to be a bit softer so my sister can actually sleep. Talking about service, mate, my sister's just been putting in some epic levels of service. My other sister's flat, the garden in her flat got a bit overrun and her flat got a bit messy, so my sister's been being an awesome Samaritan today. So yeah, if you are watching and I haven't heard from you guys, then it is Support Your Supporter is the session, and go ahead and dive into those questions. I think you can probably sense that we've kind of shifted gears a bit. Yesterday we were very much, why do you do what you do? What do you believe in? What are your core beliefs? What are your, what stories should be told? What does the world need? What are you going to be known for? What would you like people to say about you? How will you serve? How will you create products and services that make a difference, that are aligned with your values and what you want to be known for and your core beliefs? So, we really kind of dived into some practical stuff that, look at my eyes when I do that. Wow. So we really dived into some stuff, and we've definitely kind of shifted gears. And this again, let's get it done, because once you've got a sense of what you stand for, which was yesterday's session, and this session, what your supporters, the people you ultimately are going to be serving, stand for and are all about, well, then we've got the two pieces of the jigsaw that help us to, or let's say you've got the palette of colours and you've got the paintbrush, and now it's about painting your most beautiful picture on the canvas. George, have you emailed the workbook? Oh, you fucking idiot, George. Excuse my French. Karen, it was loading, you absolute moron. It is with you now. Dear God, sorry, apologies. It was just it was 9 megabytes, so it was just uploading, and I totally forgot to press send. Karen must be like, this guy. That's why I'm going to fight with him. Fucking idiot doesn't send me his thing. Of course, Cam, you've got a very clear vision of what you're going to do. Outstanding. So, answer the questions. Like, unless you've already got your single customer avatar, the one person you're speaking to. If not, answer the questions, create it. Because with that very clear vision, you can have the clearest vision you want, but if you're not speaking the language that your customers like to be spoken to in, then they your reach will be limited. Whereas if you can speak their language, they'll tell their friends, like, shit, have seen this Saw Soccer Academy? Amazing. He really gets us as parents, or he really gets me as a young person. Yeah, Karen, and I know you weren't fighting. I'm fighting myself now for being an idiot for not sending it to you. So yeah, accept my forgiveness, please, or forgive me. I ask for your forgiveness. So yeah, Cam, I hope yesterday's exercise was useful, and you've already got a very clear vision. Now let's make sure you really can communicate the brilliance and beauty of what you do in brilliant and beautiful ways. And we can all be a bit envious of Cam as well. It's already the weekend for Cam. And for those people who value weekends as time to relax and rest, then Cam's already there. Awesome, awesome. Okay, fantastic. So in that case, great. So in that case, Cam, we need to, who's the one corporate person who you're going to, uh, you're going to communicate with. And yeah, that's going to be some very different language. And that corporate person may be also a parent of one of the kids in your academy. But this corporate person, what are they worried about? You know, are they worried about not having enough time with their family? Are they worried about the fact that the economy might go south? Are they worried about new regulations coming in? What's keeping him or her up at night? This corporate person. Um, you know, is it the fact that their you know their relationship with their son or daughter is a bit fractious? What's frustrating them? Is it the fact that life seems to be a bit of a slog at the moment? They feel like there's never enough time to do their business stuff and to be the family person they want to be. Um, what are they scared of? Well, perhaps they're scared of the fact that they are actually scared of some things, and they just, I judge that, Australians have a very kind of masculine, macho culture. Who, admitting you're scared, I wouldn't imagine happens too often among men. So perhaps they're scared of admitting they're scared of things. Cam, this is just me literally riffing off the top of my head, but just trying to give you that sense. Okay. And of course, let me know if there's anyone out there who, like Karen, has not got the workbook yet, and I've meant to send it to them or anything. So yeah, let me know. Let me know you're all able to crack on. Good, cool, excellent, Cam. Glad it was useful. Um, and Cam, definitely do send me a fleshed out version of that vision as well, because um, yeah, I guess I'd love to know the kind of whole of what you're thinking around that, because I can see it's a model that could work, but my immediate sense is if there's a few things that aren't in place, it could be one where you spend a lot of time trying to get some corporate customers to the detriment ultimately of the academy that you've already started getting momentum around. Whereas, yeah, if you got it right, it could be a super, like, they fuel each other beautifully. Fantastic, Karen. Good, good, good. So yeah, and Karen, you could be able to kind of plow through this exercise fairly quickly. Um, But the encouragement, the invitation is to go into some detail because you know who you want to support. You're really clear on your vision. Now let's really kind of have fun developing this one character. Like I know when you did the play, you kind of jumped on with some online games. So imagine right now you're playing, you know, Karen gives her gifts. It's like this brand new game, and right now you've got to create the character who's you're going to win the game with. Okay, so definitely what do your people, what do they like to receive? What are they searching for? Really go into some detail with those. Have some fun imagining, this person who these people who I work with. You know, I guess the kind of and Karen, we explored the possibility that also your touch therapies and things may also find expression elsewhere in the world as well. Not necessarily just in care homes, but it could be for mindfulness and well-being in the corporate world, if that's what you felt called to as well. So these people who need your therapies, who need you to help them, feel joy again. What are they not admitting to themselves? And if they could change one thing about themselves, what would it be? What brings them pain? How do they dress? Really go into some details so far. So the first part is about getting a general sense of the people you're working with. And then the second part, so the first part says go deep, so we get a really deep picture of the people as a whole. And the second part is then where we get specific and we actually take from that deep kind of general awareness some specifics. So we then start to go, are they male or female? What is their income, their age, where do they live, etc. We really get specific so that we can always come back to that picture, that image, that symbol, that living character for us, if you like, to then communicate when we need to communicate. Okay. I need some water. Come with me on a mission to find some water. We're glad the internet seems to be playing up a little bit better. I know that Cam had some issues getting on earlier, but it's very good. There we go. Just looking at your comment here, Jenny. Cool, great stuff. So yeah, Jenny, I love that question. And so I think, and you've got a great, way that we can actually map this out live, because that's very much, I think it's one of the things that I have managed to kind of nail down, which is, I have a love of poetry. I love kind of teaching. I love performing. I love kind of hosting events. So I feel like there's a lot of different things, but I always feel like I'm kind of ultimately offering the same things, which I mentioned yesterday, like inspiration, education, transformation. Those are the three things that are really big for me. So in answer to your question, if there's people who've got many different passions and things and can serve in different ways, there's always going to be, though, I feel, a kind of a uniting, like a common thread that runs through everything they do. So for me, it's, and this is why we did the session yesterday, which if you haven't had a chance to check it out, really do check it out. Maybe even, pause this one and do yesterday's session. The first question is, why did you do what you do? What are your core beliefs? So for me, I believe that we as a species need to find a way to tell a better story of life on Earth for ourselves and for our planet. And so in everything that I do, my performances, my poetry, the education stuff that I do, that core belief is the kind of driving force behind all of the ways that I express myself. Luke, don't worry if you're too far behind. It's all good, dude. And look, listen, just give me a call and I can point you in some directions to, there may be some sessions that in your current role are more relevant than others. So give me a shout if you need to, dude. There's no problem at all. So yeah, Jenny, I hope, does that help as far as, so maybe go and get your core beliefs. So it's like, right, I, as someone who believes in this and who's driven by this deep motivation, desire, inspiration, I want to serve in these ways and you know the kind of the people who would like that kind of thing are people who are waking up, and these people are waking up. They're afraid of this. Da, 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 da. Let me know if that's helped, given some clarity, and if you've got any other questions. And again, if you are behind in any sessions, it's not a massive issue, because as we go through, you'll be like, I need to catch up on that session, and so it may be that some of the other sessions they're not needed right now, and when they are needed, they'll crop up. And at that point, all it is ever is like half an hour. That's the main meat of any session, right? So you're never more than an extra half an hour behind from where you need to be. So and that's I hope that's the useful thing about the way we're structuring this program as well. Oh mate, that's good. Like little bit of lemon juice in there, like just lemon water. So amazing, so amazing. Particularly in London, where the water tastes like. What is it? I think they say it's good. I'll send you an outline of what I'm looking to do. I'll flesh it out now that I'm on the school holidays. Brilliant. So yeah, Cam, definitely, because um, it, yeah, I think the more we can kind of hit the ground running with this, and be aware of that, and definitely test the vision with Harry as well, because both Harry and James have worked a lot in the corporate field as well. So I think they probably know a lot about the language, perhaps more than I would as well, in terms of how you might approach them, and things to be aware of. But definitely send it over so that we can have a look, and we can just make sure we're rocking it. Nice. So Cam's in Australia. Jenny, where are you headed? Um, Australia's quite a big place, but if you're headed to the same place, mate, how amazing would that be if you guys were headed to the same place, or Jenny was headed to where you live, Cam? That would be pretty nuts. Jenny, again, yeah, don't worry. Listen, again, if you want to have a call before you go on your holiday, so that we can get a sense of, because in the space of a phone call, like 20-minute phone call, we can really get an orientation of where you're at and go, cool. We'll definitely check out this session, this session, this session. Don't worry about that, because we're going to cover that in what's coming up, etc., etc. Okay, so that's very much on offer, and let me know if you'd like to take me up on that. We're all eagerly waiting to see where Jenny's headed. Um, Brisbane, Queensland. Fantastic. That sounds amazing. So, yep, I can confirm we flew into Brisbane when we went there, and when we went back, we nearly missed a plane. That was hilarious. So, yeah, Jenny, if you fancy a little trip, about 4 hours up the coast, it's really beautiful up in Harvey Bay where Cam lives. Or maybe you guys could meet like in the middle, like 2 hours away, like go to Bundaberg where they make rum. Go and have a little sip of rum together. So yeah, something like that would be awesome. Um, awesome. Well, that's wonderful to know, Cam. That's wonderful to know. And yeah, let's keep it going, because I know that if Cam, someone who's got as much warrior in them as you, and also as much heart and as much kind of kindness, when you're free of that fog, then you're going to do amazing things for other people as well. So it really is about paying it forward. This is just such a gift, because I know of all the people who are going to benefit from you, Cam, as well. So nice, 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 nice. That's beautiful, Jenny. I can even in just the text form, I can sense you're buzzing to go. So that's wonderful. So guys, listen. If you've got any other questions, I'm going to head off, and I haven't eaten much today, so I'm going to go make some food. And if you're watching this on repeat as well, or not on repeat, like on a recording, again, the invitation really is there, because this session, it kind of almost needs a few questions answering for you. Um, before we crack on, or before you kind of dive into it. So if that is the case, the invitation really is to hit me up on Messenger, WhatsApp, email, and let's jump on a call, so we can get things. Let's make sure that there's no sticking points as we dive into these sessions where we're really kind of getting into it. Okay. So guys, massive love. It'd be amazing if Jenny and Cam were able to hook up and have a uprising party between everyone over there. That would be just wonderful, with some amazing souls in Harvey Bay. Yeah, guys, go well. Have a fantastic weekend. Tomorrow, we're gonna dig a little into you again. We're gonna be like, we're gonna maybe find out why you do things, that you're not really expecting. And so we did the archetypes, and this is another way of going, ooh, I didn't know that. And this exercise we're going to do tomorrow, one of the most transformational things in terms of giving me clarity about why I behaved in particular in just a couple of specific ways that I didn't understand. And once I got it, and yeah, amazing. So really look forward to sharing that with you guys. And fantastic, amazing, Jenny, Cam, let's do this. And amazing to see Miranda tonight. So thank you for being on this journey, guys, because it's something beautiful. It's something very special, and who knows where it will go, but we know, for me, it's been so wonderful so far, and I bless and honor all of you for being on it with me and for sharing your gifts. So let's keep it rolling, let's keep it going, and go with love. I'll see you tomorrow.